What's up, guys? On today's episode, we're working on this beautiful Tesla Model 3. Now, we all know that Tesla paint is just a little bit finicky, so it's a prime or a perfect example to test out 205, meaning Meguiar's 205 polish, versus 210, their new polish, and see if there's any differences and what are the steps that you go through to actually achieve perfect paint. That and a lot more coming up on this episode of Drive and Protect. All the way in, so that they touch on paint on. You can hear it. Okay, as you can see, the Tesla paint is scratched and swirled. Now, this is pretty normal. I don't know exactly why, but that's not the point of the video. From a detailing perspective, when I hear a Tesla coming in, I'm going, oh my gosh, this is crazy. From the finicky perspective, meaning how can I polish this out? How can I get that last 10%? That's the challenge part, not the how do I cut it. So I'm not really worried about the scratches. It's the last part. So as an example, what we're going to do is I put this piece of tape here. We're going to remove it. Then I'm going to use 110 to cut. We're just going to keep everything, that's my foundation, my basis, right? So we're going to cut everything here, have it look as good as possible. It should be a little bit of haze, maybe a tiny bit here and there. Then I'm going to take 205 on this side and 210 on this side. Now, Meguiar's is saying that 210 is designed specifically for finicky paint. This is like the quintessence of finicky paint. Everybody knows that. And when I use 205, I think I've done a bunch of Teslas with 205 and I can do it. But in a video I shot many years ago where I used just straight water on a Porsche and a yellow pad, I had to do a lot of different things, meaning I had to minimize that or dilute the ratio of 205 so it didn't cut as much. And then I played with that. And then I basically went all the way down to water. And then I changed the speed. And then I changed the pressure. All these variables that I had to change around to make it work. I make it work, but it kind of made me pull my hair out at the same time. I guess Meguiar's in their marketing is saying, hey, we took all those variables out and now you can use just straight 210. And I'm trying to put that to the test here because this is like a really kind of annoying car to get that out. So let's clean this up with 110, have a perfect base, 205 and 210, we'll see what happens. Okay. Now, a lot of you are going to be asking, why am I using this one versus that other black one that I had? I'm using this one because the black one has a tendency, hang on a second. The black one had a tendency to make my glasses fog up. So when I put the glasses on, which is, I think is one of the most important things, I don't know, the heat from my mouth or whatever made the glasses fog up and I couldn't see anything, which is pretty useless. So I went back to this where it's sealed. Much better. Now, I think a lot of you are saying, why are you wearing all this respirator stuff? I've talked about it a few times. They've minimized a lot of the dusting, but the dusting and getting into your mouth, plus we're using chemicals, and I'm doing this 24 hours a day. It's not a good idea. So if you're using gloves, and in fact, a lot of you have emailed me about ear protection. That's my next little venture. How do I get all these in one shot so I don't have to worry about all this stuff? But it's a progression here. So anyways, I'm going to pull the camera in and show you one pass with 110. Actually cleaned up a whole lot. So I'm pretty pleased with it already. I think it got me, I don't know, 80, 85% there, but that's not the point of, you know, when somebody comes in for detail, they want 90, 95, 99%. So we're gonna have to polish this out, but I'll show you a quick little look here. I'll finish the rest of it and then we'll get to 205.
With the paint swirls and light scratches removed, I first started with M205 on the left side of the trunk in my normal fashion, primed the pad, 2 dots on speed 3, and off we go. Afterwards, there was a slight haze to the paint. Now, it's faint, but it's definitely there. So I blew out the pad again and then tried a totally different approach, which was adding just a light mist of water instead of product to draw a little bit of the abrasives out of the pad. Now, that was better, but definitely not perfect. So then I finished up by blowing out the pad again and adding no product and no supplemental wetting agent with medium downward pressure and 1 pass only before blowing it out again and repeating the process, and that seemed to do the trick. Then for the right side of the trunk, I used a new yellow Rupes pad. It wasn't primed. I just put 2 dots of 210 on it, used it on speed 3. And what I've read online is it said that it's best to not overwork the product when you're doing it. So I only did 2 passes and then I checked my work under a light.
Okay, at this point, I finished up with the 205 and the 210. If I yank the tape down here like this, what you're gonna see, as I was looking at it a little bit earlier, is they both look pretty much the same to me. Now, the difference between 205 and 210, in my opinion, was on this side. I had to do a couple of different variables. I blew out the pad, I think 2 or 3 more times than I did on this side. I had to add some supplemental wetting agent. That did okay, but not great. Again, I have to test all these things. You don't know where it's going to go. And then ultimately, I went with a primed pad, but I didn't add any additional 205 because it was cutting too much. Thus, the residue was coming up, putting it back down, and then scouring just a little bit. I mean, we're talking tiny, tiny, minute bits here. So the way that I got 205 to work was to do a lot of pressure, no extra 205, and do 1 pass. That's kind of like the trick for 205 that I've used over the years. Now on this side, I just did 1 or 2 passes. I think I blew the pad out once, and it worked out fine. It was weird. I wanted to do more. So the bottom line for me is I don't think I would ever get rid of 205 because it does cut more than 210, and I use it in very weird cases as well. Let's say like a Porsche paint where I don't want to actually cut a whole lot. I want something in between. So 205 still works. But for something that's really finicky, for paint that, you know, it's got some special thing on it, or it's a Tesla, or it's just funky and you're pulling your hair out, I think 210 really hits the spot. I didn't have to do a whole lot of passes either. So anyways, as I develop more and learn more about this product, you know, I'm liking it, but I'll shoot more videos on it. So that's basically the comparison between 205 and 210 and my thoughts. If you guys have any questions, you know where to find me. Larry at AMMONYC.com. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.